Just wait for a couple more moments and then we'll get stuck in. All right, looks like the waiting room has now arrived. So yeah, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our TASS and Schoolbox showcase. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Our focus for this session is pretty simple. We want to look at how a tight, intentional relationship between your core administration system and your learning management platform can transform daily school life. Instead of looking at these platforms as isolated silos, we're here to talk about what they look like when they work together to create a more cohesive experience for your teachers, students, and families. To give you a genuine operational perspective, Nathan from Rehoboth Christian College will join us later in the session to share how this partnership has shaped their digital landscape. Before we dive into the workflows, let's introduce the team on the line today. My name's Scott Newman. I'm one of the product owners here at Schoolbox. Core part of my day-to-day focus is collaborating with partners like TASS to ensure our tools align and solve genuine operational problems for schools. Representing TASS is Peter Cram, product owner for student administration. Peter holds a deep understanding of the TASS platform and school administrative environments. And as mentioned previously, we're incredibly grateful to have Nathan with us. As the ICT manager at Rehoboth Christian College, Nathan is living and breathing the setup, and he'll be giving us a candid look into what this partnership looks like in the wild. Just some quick housekeeping before we get into the meat of the presentation. First of all, this webinar is being recorded, and so there's no need to take any frantic notes. We'll send the link directly to your inbox afterwards, and you can share it with your colleagues. Secondly, please drop your questions into the Q&A box at any point throughout the session. We've set aside some time at the end to cover those off, and if we can't answer anything during the session, we'll follow up afterwards. To provide a bit of context to those we haven't met yet, Schoolbox is a purpose-built K-12 digital platform that integrates a learning management system, a community portal, and student wellbeing tools to centralise teaching, communication, and day-to-day operations for staff, students, and families. Fundamentally, we see our mission as extending beyond just providing software. We act as a partner, helping schools bridge the gap between classroom delivery, student wellbeing, parent engagement. Our roadmap is heavily influenced by educator-led innovation, ensuring that the tools we build actually reflect the daily rhythms and unique needs of live school communities. Ultimately, we want to help you create a digital space where learning, operations, and community connection don't just coexist, but actually enhance one another. When a school chooses Schoolbox, they're really establishing a digital campus that mirrors their physical one. It's more than just a tool set, it's about embedding your school's learning culture and community experience into every digital interaction. Importantly, we've always believed that no single platform can or should attempt to be everything to every school. We're huge advocates for school choice and the ability to curate a best-of-breed technology stack that fits the needs of the school. That's why our partnership with TASS is fundamental to our strategy. By ensuring our systems work in harmony, we provide a foundation where your data remains consistent and your workflows are simplified across the entire school. We're focused on doing what we do best and partnering with companies like TASS to ensure your digital ecosystem is stable, flexible, and scalable. And on that note, I'll hand over to Peter to introduce TASS.
Great, thanks, Scott. So the Alpha School System is a family of products built for the needs of independent schools in Australia. Our aim is to connect and support your entire school community. So within our suite of products, we have a full finance and payroll backend to support your finance, payroll, and HR teams. School and student administration to cater for elements such as enrolments, timetable, academic reporting, attendance, medical, including medication management, extracurricular, learning support, the list goes on and on. We also have a learning analytics platform to provide teachers, parents, and students with data insights and trends to make better informed decisions in the classroom. We then have portal products for easy access for information for teachers and staff, students and parents as well. And we have native mobile applications for specifically for staff, another one for parents, and very soon one for students. So making access, those mobile applications obviously make access to information available right at your fingertip. Thanks, Scott. So as I mentioned, we have a suite of products, and there are four main products. So TASS, which is our school management system, Track One Studio, which is our learning analytics platform, then TASS Orbit, which are the mobile native apps that I was talking about. And then we also have Edumate, which is another student information system. All four of these products have their own dedicated integration with Schoolbox. We've been supporting schools in Australia for 39 years. We have over 400 independent schools in Australia using TASS. So that's more than 46,000 staff that are supported and over 300,000 students. So we might jump in to have, oh, sorry, Scott, you want to talk about the integration? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So Schoolbox and TASS share a long-standing history, and we currently support a significant number of shared schools across the Australian landscape. Our shared goal with our partnership is to ensure the integration provides the best possible experience for the end user. By ensuring the right data is surfaced in the exact spaces where it's needed, we remove the friction that often exists between platforms. That's where we see the real operational efficiency. Removing the manual heavy lifting behind the scenes eliminates that that system friction, allowing everyone to focus on what matters most, delivering a great experience for the school community. I'm going to hand it back to Peter to touch on some of the finer points of the integration.
So at the core of the integration, Schoolbox uses our API to pull information out of TASS so that the information flow is automatic and the two systems are in sync. So that information that Schoolbox pulls for students covers things like core student details, their subjects, calendar and e-diary, timetable notices, medical conditions as well, and also the students' communication rules. Then from a teacher or staff perspective, that the core details of staff are also pulled via the API into Schoolbox, including for teachers, subjects, timetable, and then the school calendar and a staff member's e-diary as well. Similarly, for parent information, that's pulled via the API from TASS to Schoolbox. And so that's core parent details and then also calendar and notices.
Beautiful. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an outline into what that looks like inside Schoolbox. So first of all, when we look at daily workflows, the primary objective is to bring the critical information right to the point of need. Within Schoolbox, student records from TASS are surfaced contextually where the staff are already working. This means that the essential details like medical alerts, medical notes, alerts, parent relationships, and emergency contacts are immediately accessible. Staff don't have to navigate away from the learning management system or operate a separate database to find that background and essential context. As far as timetables and class enrolments go, the daily school routine are driven seamlessly by bringing your TASS timetable and class enrolment straight into Schoolbox. The schedule from TASS feeds automatically into Schoolbox, mapping out the daily operations for both students and staff. Crucially, student enrolments are managed seamlessly as part of that TASS data, and class lists are synced instantly to populate those digital class pages, meaning that there's minimal setup required to get that digital learning, the digital classroom up and running. Following the same logic as the staff data, the staff profiles are drawn straight from TASS to power the day-to-day functions of Schoolbox. This automated link keeps the staff details and access accurate across learning, communication, and portal spaces. It ensures consistency across both platforms, removing the need for manual update or double data entry. As far as attendance goes, we all know that role marking can become an administrative chore if the tech gets in the way. With the TASS and Schoolbox setup, staff aren't logging into a separate portal or switching systems. They just tap the deep link option right there in the timetable widget within Schoolbox, mark the attendance, and they're done. It keeps the workflow clean and removes the constant context switching. Ultimately, the family experience is measured by how easily parents can access what matters. Powered by parent data from TASS, Schoolbox provides a connected experience where student information, learning progress, and community updates are available in one efficient space. By focusing on clarity and reducing administrative noise, we help schools deliver a far more consistent experience for families. Ensure they always have the visibility they need to support their children. To extend on this topic, I'll hand back over to Peter to discuss TASS Parent Orbit.
Yeah, so Parent Orbit is our native mobile application. And so schools that have Parent Orbit have some enhanced integration with Schoolbox. So by using Parent Orbit, parents are able to effortlessly move between Orbit and Schoolbox with a convenient quick link on the homepage. Parents will seamlessly log in and then they can stay within Parent Orbit app while accessing Schoolbox application. So there's no need for them to log in again. Schoolbox push notifications also arrive directly into Parent Orbit, appearing in the notification center with a comprehensive history of past alerts. Customizable tiles can also be added to the Parent Orbit grid to take parents directly to Schoolbox. And we are currently working with Schoolbox on an upcoming feature, which is the integration of the calendar. So parents within Parent Orbit will be able to view their Schoolbox calendar, providing a seamless and secure way to access that directly in that Parent Orbit app.
Beautiful.
Right. I think that's we might take a break from us talking about our products, and let's bring in Nathan now from Rehoboth Christian College, who use both TASS and Schoolbox. So welcome, Nathan. I might just get you to start, if you can, by just giving us a quick snapshot of your school, maybe the size, the structure, a bit about your tech environment, and maybe what it looked like before TASS and Schoolbox.
Thanks, Pete. Right, so we're a K-12 school in the southern suburbs of Perth. We're 1,150 students, roughly 250 staff, and we're spread across 2 primary schools and a secondary school. So 3 schools, 2 campuses, 1 college. That's our thing to say that we because it sounds fragmented, but we put in a lot of effort to not be that way. We want to make sure kids at any school get the same Rehoboth experience. So we're a Microsoft Surface Lighthouse school. So our kids have a 1-to-1 device from year 4 up, and then a few shared trolleys for the younger years. In the IT team, there's 4 of us. So we're kept pretty busy, keeping all that up and running. And then we're supported by a pretty great teaching and learning team who, obviously the front-facing ones in the classroom. Before TASS and Schoolbox, so a few years back, we went through a major overhaul and we changed out our LMS and our SIS. So we changed to TASS in October 23, and then over 2024, we rolled out Schoolbox, like setting up, and then in 25, we went live with Schoolbox. So it's in our 2nd year running it now, still pretty new, but we feel like we know it pretty well. before that, the tech landscape was really the heavy hitter for us was Excel. Excel was tracking long service leave. Excel was tracking grades. Excel was doing it all. We drew up a diagram of what was doing what, and most of it went back to Excel, which of course comes with all the headaches of multiple versions of the same doc and things being emailed and things being updated by different people in different places. So that was probably what triggered some of the change for us, was needing this as the college was growing, needed a unified system.
Sure. And I don't think you're alone in having those kind of issues. I wonder if maybe you could just elaborate a little bit more on what some of those challenges were, specifically around the data reporting and admin processes.
Yeah, so a lot of the issues we had were to do with double or even triple data entry, where like a parent would change address, would have to be entered into our TASS, would have to change it in our LMS, would have to change it in our excursions program, and then only takes often by different people as well. So the one front desk lady does one system, someone in the business office does another, and the HR lady has to sort it out for the fees. So it's very easy for the ball to get dropped there, and then you're trying to figure out which data is accurate. Is it this list? Is it that list? So there's all that, and then there was things like government reporting was always a hassle. Often relied on SQL queries, exporting to a CSV, and then having to manipulate that to match the upload spec they required. So a lot of those things, like the attendance stats, all those things, always took a lot of effort. And it always felt like it shouldn't, because it's fairly straightforward and the same each year, but every time it was a challenge. And then just with the systems we were using, there wasn't really a drive or a spark. They were stagnating, no real development, no new features coming out. And they were kind of faceless entities, which, they weren't a partner, they were just a product they sold, and that was it.
Yeah, sure. So it's a fairly huge task that you went through in terms of replacing both your SIS and your LMS. So what's the importance for you around having a close integration of those two, rather than operating separately?
Yeah, so a big thing, and Scott touched on it earlier, is not having silos of data. So TASS and Schoolbox separately don't hold all our data, but they each hold a piece of the puzzle, and they talk to each other, so it doesn't need to be replicated across them both. So it saves on that double and triple data entry. The integration between them was key. That's pretty much the main question we're asking when we're looking at all sorts of different SISs and LMSs, was how do you chat to other systems? Because as we were growing, we're like, we can't keep doing this. It's okay to double enter, leave details for 50 staff, but not for 250 staff. So the integration was key. And I think, that aha moment for us was, I remember when we first got Schoolbox and we logged in for the first time, and you looked up a student and the timetable was there. And the parent contact info was, it's just there. And you could look up a teacher and their timetable was there from TASS. It was just like, oh, right, like it just worked. There was no, especially our previous experience where it was like drawing blood out of a stone to get any kind of information flowing. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so other than any like concrete kind of improvements that you've seen, maybe in data consistency, you've touched on a little bit, but I guess any improvements in confidence with the two working so closely together?
Yeah, so a lot of it, all the admins who have to get those reports. So there's so we have SCASA, the West Australian curriculum people, the authority, as they like to be called. They have a lot of things you have to report on for 10, 11, and 12. All those reports are just a click of a button now. The admin lady who has to do that, she's very happy. She's not trawling through SQL queries trying to figure out why the number of students isn't matching up. So there's a lot more confidence in that, and around attendance stats and things like that. It's just there. And it's great for parents as well. Before, parents did not have great visibility into the back end stuff, so things like medical and finance. They could see like there was grades and feedback, but there was nothing about that back end systems or like excursion permissions. Whereas now, because we use Parent Orbit, if a news post goes out on Schoolbox, they get it in the app. It's there for them. If fees are coming out, it's there in the app. They can see it. If there's a medical update needed because their kid's going on a camp soon, it's there in the app. So the confidence from that side of things is night and day to what we had before. A lot of these things, and then the same for staff as well. So there was not great viewing into your payroll details. So if you wanted to see how much sick leave or annual leave you had, it was an email to the poor payroll lady who then had to reply to everyone one at a time. All that info is there as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that. I wonder in wrapping up, I'm conscious that we've got a range of different people on this call, some that probably already use both Schoolbox and TASS integrated, but then we might have other people that are looking to review either their SMS or their LMS, or maybe both, like you were. What advice would you give, seemingly this is a fairly recent journey for you? What's the advice that you would give when it comes to choosing systems that work well together?
Yeah, so I think sure, get the sales pitch from both of you guys, but chat to schools who have one or both, because every school's different, but we're all facing similar problems and issues with what we're doing and how we're trying to school better. And there's always little gotchas, which some of we're working through still about, oh, this isn't quite working the way we thought it would. And so some of those it's good to know up front. But really, it's just seeing how other schools utilize Schoolbox and TASS and the things they do with it. How are they using that sync? How are they using TASS? How are they using Schoolbox? What's the day-to-day like for a teacher, for a parent, for a student? Chatting to other schools, and we're always happy to chat as well about what's it like day to day. Because as good as a sales pitch is, you guys aren't a school.
Love that. All right.
Yeah, well, thanks, Nathan, for sharing those thoughts and insight. We appreciate your time, and maybe if you can hold on the line, people might even have some questions for you at the end, rather than just getting the spiel from Scott and myself, perhaps. So, yeah, but thank you. We really appreciate you giving up your time to be part of this. We might just move on. So one of the things that we thought it was important to touch on in this webinar too is all that we've talked about so far is the current situation. And as many of you know, that TASS has had an API program for roughly about 8 years. And, it has mainly focused on the retrieval of data from TASS, and that's currently what Schoolbox integrates with primarily. In the last couple of years, we have embarked on a huge transformation of our API, and we have the new API available now that we are continuing to roll out. And so I thought I might just spend a little bit of time touching on some of that and how that will enhance the integration with Schoolbox. So just quickly, I know a lot of you have probably heard us talk a lot about our new API, but for those who haven't heard, a couple of key details. So when we built our original API, as I said, that was about 8 years ago. We all know that integration and data needs have changed a lot in that time. And so that's why we've completely rebuilt this from the ground up with a new REST, modern REST API that is completely granular. So it means that integration partners like Schoolbox can request exactly the data they need, no more overfetching, no unnecessary complexity, just clean targeted data flows between systems. It has significantly easier authentication, and schools are actually able to manage the access directly themselves. Also, we, as I said, the old API is primarily about retrieval. The new API, if we get a little bit geeky, has all the methods available. So we're talking get, post, put, patch, delete. So there is a lot more that is able to be done, obviously, with those methods for retrieving, but also then for pushing data back into TASS. From a practical perspective, the way that it's built means significantly better performance, more reliable integration, and the ability to tailor how systems like TASS and Schoolbox actually work together. One of the other significant differences is that we are rolling out the new API to have comprehensive coverage over all aspects of TASS. So the old one had a fairly limited data set, whereas the new one, while not there fully yet, will cover the comprehensive product. So obviously that means, in terms of, we're talking with Schoolbox here, that we have the capability in the future for there to be a lot more sophisticated integrations between the two systems. And yeah, so we are actively talking with and working with Schoolbox on the integration and switching over to the new API. We have some endpoints from the old API that currently Schoolbox is using that we are yet to migrate, even though the majority has been migrated to the new API. But in bringing those online, as well as the other new, more comprehensive endpoints, that will then allow Schoolbox to switch to this new API and have enhanced functionality.
Beautiful. Thanks very much for covering that, Peter, and also to Nathan for your input there and your insights into the day in life. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll get to some questions in a moment, but I'll just sort of start to wrap things up from a presentation perspective. So to give you a bit of a clearer look at where the partnership stands between Schoolbox and TASS, we like to frame our integration as an ongoing journey. We've progressed from a direct database integration to an API, and we continue to review that. So right now we've got that really robust foundation. As discussed earlier, the integration handles all of that core staff, student and parent data, including the complex relationship mapping and communication rules that comes along with it. It also drives the daily schedule and automated timetabling. The current integration also supports deep linking capabilities from Schoolbox into core TASS portals, allowing your community to move effortlessly between Schoolbox and spaces like Parent Lounge, Teacher Kiosk, and Student Cafe. Looking at what's on the immediate horizon, and Peter alluded to this a little bit earlier, we're collaborating closely on key enhancements to the Schoolbox and TASS Orbit integration to level up that parent experience. Looking further ahead, we're really about staying aligned as partners. We'll continue to work together to evaluate the potential of integration enhancements as new opportunities arise, keeping our approach flexible based on what delivers the most value to our shared schools. We understand that a lot of that will be aligned to the API discussion that Peter just communicated. Yeah, overall, just as a bit of a summary and to wrap things up, a core takeaway from our session today is really centers around delivering a truly connected experience. TASS and Schoolbox fill two distinct but highly complementary roles within a school's digital landscape. TASS serves as that robust administrative anchor and data foundation, while Schoolbox handles that active learning space, communication, and community layer. The unified approach gives your school a more cohesive workflows, clearer visibility across data sets, and ultimately aims to deliver a frictionless experience for your staff, students, and your families. want to extend a massive thank you to Peter from TASS and to Nathan from Rehoboth Christian College. Thanks for joining us and sharing your invaluable insights. There are a number of questions that have come through the Q&A, and it looks like they're directed at a bit of a combination of all of us here. So we'll just chip away. I'm happy to pick through. So a question from Brett, will there ever be a way for parents, actually I think I've just stopped sharing my screen. It might be a little bit easier. Okay. Will there ever be a way for parents to be notified of upcoming Schoolbox assessments through the TASS, through TASS or Orbit? I suppose that there from that's purely based on a value and a need basis, and bring that to both our attention from a Schoolbox and a TASS perspective. That basically, from a Schoolbox side of things, that notification is available via our API. So it'll be a sort of an action item for both TASS and Schoolbox to consider that and what that looks like in the TASS Orbit app. Peter, do you have anything to add on that in that space?
No, that sounds like I agree with what you're saying.
Do you want to, real quick from us, if it's a news item that pushes
Nathan.
through to Orbit? So if it's pushing out as a Schoolbox news item, you'll get it. As a Schoolbox notification, sorry, it will pop up in Orbit.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think the next layer of that is the interaction with that notification and where the user will land, and simplifying that process from a SSO perspective or an auth perspective. I've got a question here from Leanne. Our parent community currently use Schoolbox app. Is there a reason why they would also need to access Orbit? Nathan, I might get your insight on that one to start off with, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I mean, Orbit has all the, for us, we call it the back end stuff for us. So finance, your attendance is in there, school fees, medical updates. It depends where that data is resting for you. So because our attendance is in TASS, if their child is marked absent, they get a notification in the Orbit app, and they can give a reason right there in the app. They don't need to call back to school. They don't need to send in an email. They can say, my kid's sick. And then the admin ladies just click approve. They don't have to add in any more details. It's all there. So you get all that visibility and functionality with Orbit. So anything you do in TASS, from a parent point of view, works amazingly well in Parent Orbit. And then happy days, you get your Schoolbox notifications as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Question from Jenny. Does the role marking in Schoolbox update TASS? So I can probably talk to that technically. So from your timetable component on your dashboard inside Schoolbox, it's attendance is marked through a deep link. So clicking on that will take you directly into TASS to be able to record the attendance there. Another question here from Trevor. Looking at the setup process, which we're currently going through, Schoolbox and TASS appears to still be using the older TASS API model and authentication. Will that change to the newer TASS API model? And I think, Peter, you probably covered that off towards the end of your, I think that question was asked just before you started.
It was probably, yeah, it was probably asked earlier, but yeah, definitely. Yeah,
so as Peter mentioned, once that coverage is there from the Schoolbox side of things, it's definitely something that Schoolbox will consider. Is there any way to get assessments created in TASS to push assessment dates to Schoolbox calendar? So we're looking at e-diary in TASS. That's a really good question, actually. I might need to ask the team that one, if there's any way, or any school that we have. Traditionally, from the Schoolbox environment, the assessment date would live there to start with. but that is a use case I'd probably have to come back to. That's Joe. Let's take that on notice. That's okay. If a teacher makes a message or notice in Schoolbox, I assume that pushes into TASS and thus will appear as a notification in TASS Orbit. I think we covered that one as well. Thanks to Nathan. There's a question here from Jacob directly to you, Nathan. What sys did you move from when you mentioned SQL queries? I believe I know, trying to confirm that you don't exactly need to answer that.
I emailed him to reply.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Will the daily data such as subs and room changes be available to be synced to Schoolbox? This is one thing that Peter and I actually discussed quite recently.
How did we know this question was going to come up? So, yeah, I'll grab that one if you want, Scott.
Yeah, go for
it. Yes, absolutely. Part of the new API endpoints in terms of the timetable that will have daily room changes and teacher substitutions overlaid into those timetables, and so that will be available through the new API. So once we work with Schoolbox to get that integrated with the new API, then that will be available obviously within Schoolbox as well. So that's a key thing that we have on the top of our list, that we know that's functionality that will be very useful to everyone.
In the meantime, there is a setting in Schoolbox to set the daily org import time, so you can ask it to do your timetable import. We've set ours to 8:30 in the morning. Generally by then all the subs and room changes have been entered into TASS, so Schoolbox will do a timetable only sync, which pulls all that info in.
Beautiful. Sounds like Nathan's a bit of a resource for other TASS schools too. So there's another question here about attendance. So just to be clear, the deep linking allows you to land in TASS and record the data directly in TASS. It's just the seamless approach to get to that destination, but the final outcome is that all attendance data is stored within TASS and not within Schoolbox.
Yep.
Question here from Danny. Will the new API allow for write back of assessment from Schoolbox to TASS?
Yep. Short answer, yes.
Short answer is yes, absolutely. The APIs that TASS have created will allow that. And yeah, it's just a timeline and transition to that new API once it's comprehensively available for us to transition.
Yep.
And does the integration allow teachers to see a weekly overview of attendance? So I'm probably just going to assume that's a weekly overview of attendance for a particular student, or I'm not entirely sure. That could be a variety of different views. That data is stored within TASS. So Peter, I might hand that question to you. If we can get you into TASS, is that an available view?
I suspect, in terms of the, I guess I can clarify with whoever asked the question exactly the view that they're looking for.
Yep.
I think that probably what I'm picking up from this is actually something that is on our roadmap for a new feature that is soon to come, which will give a better view that actually does show, a period of days, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, in a more grid fashion, to be able to see an easier visual. So that's something that's coming. Obviously, once we've built that in TASS, then we can talk with you, Nathan, about what that looks like. With Scott, in terms of what that looks like in terms of integrating into Schoolbox.
Yeah, beautiful. And then the final two questions that are here are somewhat the same, about timelines around the API and its availability. Peter, I'll let you attempt to answer that one.
Yeah, because we all love making commitments on timelines.
Yes.
But look, I think we've been fairly committal on the idea that we will have all of the existing API endpoints to be migrated across by the end of this year. We are giving some extra priority to the Schoolbox ones so that we can get them done as soon as possible, because we would like, obviously, if we can get the Schoolbox integration using the new API, that then opens up to all the other new endpoints that we haven't had available before. So we're working towards that. I guess we can't really make a commitment in terms of what that then means will be when it's available in Schoolbox. But yeah, I guess for everyone to know, we have a dedicated API development team that is working constantly on this to try and push this out as fast as we can.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be as transparent as we possibly can to the community as we go on this journey. A lot about what we presented today is that, communicating that we are partners in this process, and yeah, we want to make sure that we are delivering the value to our shared customers. So I think that's about all in the chat, and we're right at the end of the allotted time. So yeah, I'll just sort of finish this off by thanking Nathan and Peter one more time, and also to everyone that's attended and asked any questions. If there are any questions that we've missed, we'll follow up with you, make sure we got the context and give you the clarity that you need. So yeah, once again, thank you. Make sure you have a great evening. Thanks for attending.